I recently had the chance to go on a bear photography trip to Alaska, and I wanted to talk to you today about batch processing noise reduction because I found out, and as I was going through my photos for that, how important it was. By the way, if you want to read a little bit more about that trip, I did a little recap over on the website, gear, settings, all that fun stuff. So I put a link in the description for that one. But what we're talking about here is how to batch process Lightroom's denoise AI in Adobe Camera Raw. How to batch process that, because it's an interruption to your workflow. On my computer, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for each photo that I do it on, and I don't want to do it one by one, so I want to batch process it, but I don't want to do it on photos that it shouldn't be done on that aren't going to go to the next level. So there's a little bit of workflow to working with that, and also cleaning up, because now you're going to have 2 photos for every one at the end. So that's what we'll cover in this video. A couple things just to remember as a baseline as we start. Remember, denoise AI inside of Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw only works on raw photos, and it will always, as of summer 2023, will always create a separate DNG file that it's done on. That can't be changed as of right now. Hopefully one day it will be. Also, I do know that for some people that it takes a little bit longer. Please don't leave a comment and clog up the comment stream with how long it takes for you to run. We get it. Everybody gets it. There's some people, for some reason, it takes a little bit longer. Best thing I can say is contact Adobe for that, and hopefully they're working on some performance improvements for it. Let's go ahead and get started. Just to bring you up to speed on where I'm at, I've got a bunch of photos, 5 photos that I've put into a collection. Of course, you'd probably have more, so that's why I would say give some time to this process, because this noise reduction can take a while if you're going to batch it. But I put 5 photos into a collection here, and what I've done is I already know, when I put a photo into a collection, I usually flag it, and that's how it gets into a collection for me. But what I also do is if I go and I actually edit that photo, all right, if I actually go into develop and I do some editing on that photo, I'll hit the number 5, and that means I'm ready for it to move to the next level, because I don't want to spend this time doing noise reduction on photos that don't need it. Number 1, it's time consuming. Number 2, it's hard drive space consuming, because it's going to create a new derivative file that is going to be the noise reduction file. So I don't want to do it, and by hitting 5 for 5 stars, that's my cue when I'm looking at the photos in grid view that these are ready to move on to that noise reduction level. That's how I know that they need to do that. So however you get there, however you do this, when you're ready to do your noise reduction, all you got to do is get those photos into view, hit edit, select all, come up here to the photo menu, and then just go down to enhance. Okay. Remember, it's got to be on a raw file. It won't work on JPEG or TIFF or PSD files. It's going to open this up. I'm going to make sure denoise is checked. It will automatically check raw details, which will run a little bit of detail enhancement on it. I don't want anything to do with super resolution, no reason to do it. I do want create stacks to be chosen after this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit enhance 5 images, and through the magic of post-production, you're going to see that little progress bar that would probably take 5 minutes go away. Also, this is a great time for a very, very quick 30-second word from our sponsor. You saw a couple wildlife photos in this one. If you are into photographing wildlife, I've got a great course on editing that wildlife. It's a topic that I find a lot of people don't talk about, especially, think of it as a landscape, right? We have harsh light sometimes, we've got dark shadows, we've got bright highlights, we've got distractions, all those things that make editing wildlife just a little bit different from how we'd edit landscapes. And I've got a really popular course, very affordable, very easy to get through, that will help you with some of those wildlife photos that you have. So I hope you'll swing by and check it out. Okay, so we left off where we had run noise reduction on all 5 of these files. And again, it can take some time, especially if you're doing more. So give it that time that it needs. Understand this is going to interrupt your editing workflow. But now that it's done, there's a cleanup task that I suggest that you could do, because we have a choice. You can see it groups these together. So I can expand a group, and we've got our DNG, our noise reduced DNG file, and you'll know because it's going to have a little icon badge in it, so the photo has been enhanced. It'll also be a DNG, where the one next to it you can see as a raw photo. And if you wanted to see the difference here, I'll show you really quick. Just select both of them. Just head over here into the compare view, so you can see that's the difference. Okay, the one on the right is the noise reduction, the one on the left is the original file. So I've been so impressed with the denoise AI that we have here inside of Lightroom. But as far as cleanup goes, so here's the problem. We now have 2 files for every one of our images, right? We have the raw file, and then we have the enhanced DNG. I don't know that I'm personally ready to just delete the original raw file. I could. I don't know that I ever really need it, but I also, it's a big commitment to just go delete the original raw file. So I might get there. In the meantime, I did create this collection, and to have duplicates in a collection for me is a problem. I don't want two of every one photo inside my collection. So what you're gonna do is head up here to the view menu, go down here to the show filter bar option. That's gonna show you this little filter bar. Remember, we told it to stack everything together, which I think is good. It groups these together. That's why you can see each one contains two. What I would do is hit select all, edit select all, and then I wouldn't unstack them, but I would just expand all of the stacks because we want to see everything that's inside of there, right? So now that I can see everything inside of there, we showed that filter bar, we go to metadata, make sure nothing is chosen up here, and you're going to choose the file type option from the list there, and then we can just click on raw, and now we can see the raw photos inside there. So I would just do select all, and I'm going to hit delete. Remember, I'm in a collection. By hitting delete on a photo in a collection, all you're doing is removing that photo from the collection. You're not actually deleting the photo. All right, so I'm going to click my show filter or my filter bar. I'm going to click none, so we're not seeing anything. So now all I have left in here are the noise reduction files, of which I can now complete my workflow. It kept the editing. I did some editing on this. When you do the enhanced noise reduction, it'll keep all your editing settings. And then at this point, if I needed to jump over to Photoshop, this is when I would do it. All right, so maybe I want to go in and get rid of some of the little mosquitoes in the background, or maybe there's a blade of grass or a distraction of some sort and you need to go to Photoshop. This is the point in which I would do it. I don't mind editing first because that's telling me that this photo is making it to the next level. That's how I know, and I hit 5 stars, which lets me know that. But at that point, once I do some of that basic editing and I decide that this photo will make it to the next level, that's when I think the noise reduction should be applied. And again, to save all of those raw files in the same collection with the DNG noise reduction files, I think would be a problem for me to have duplicates inside that collection, because I want that collection to be my best of the best for that photo shoot. A while back, I also did a video on how to mask noise reduction. So in this one, you learned how to batch process noise reduction, but there are times where you might want to do noise reduction in one part of the photo and not in another part of the photo. That's going to require a little bit of Photoshop as well. So if you want a video to go watch next to learn a little bit more about it, it's a great place to go.